Hey guys, welcome back to Pop Daddy, where we talk and discuss things all pulp culture. Now, today we're going to be talking about Kaitoke Regional Park for our Wellington Lord of the Rings filming locations. Kaitoke was used for a scene in the Two Towers, as well as various parts used for Rivendell. Don't know what I'm talking about? Well, let's crack into it. Alright, so we are now at Kaitoke Regional Park, and I am actually standing on a location. Another one, yes. So if you've seen the extended edition of the Two Towers, you would have seen when Eomer finds the king's son, Theodred. That scene was actually right here. It looks obviously slightly different, being 20 years, but this is the exact spot. So we've got the pine trees and the rocks over there that you would probably find familiar. And that metal pit over there, those ways, yep. So you'll remember that in the scene as well. So yes, I'm going to head up to that bridge just up there and show you guys the downward part of this area. Alright, so I don't really want to ruin any surprises as to where we are, but this is such a very beautiful spot. It's not just that scene that was shot here. There was a location that was pretty close to the Elves. Can you guess what it is? So I'm unsure if you knew that I know how to read Elvish. This here says, Tolpatil Sinbad and Imladris. Come, walk this path to Rivendell. Alright, so to begin, here we have the races of Middle-earth. Of course, we have the hobbits. They are 3'6". We saw them running around. They would appear to be small children. The dwarves are slightly taller, though John Rhys Davies was 6 foot something. He was known as the world's tallest dwarf. Got the wizards. They were made to blend in with Middle-earth, so appear the typical size of a human. Of course, we've got Aragorn here. Now, because of his lineage and whatnot, he had partial height to the Elves, which leads us to Legolas. He's tall. And then Sauron right at the top. You may be able to notice there is something completely different and weird with Sauron. That is that he has cat's eyes. Reason for that in this picture is because that was what they originally were hoping to do, but then they realised that what they don't show could be scarier. So they went with nothing and hollow eyes. And if I stand here, you can see I'm almost the same height as Gandalf. So of course, when it came to filming Rivendell here, they needed to plant a lot of stuff around here to make it look like Rivendell. Even if they weren't going to shoot there, there was a possibility of them actually shooting at that spot. So therefore, they put stuff in every single place. Now, behind here, you can see that tree stump about there. Yep. That there had an elven staircase. So if Peter Jackson was over there, shooting his camera towards us, we would have, once again, like I was explaining, some elvish kind of decor, let's go with, to make it look like you're fully immersed into the film. This is also the spot where they found some of the Rivendell leaves, which was pretty cool. Obviously, once the filming had finished, they picked up as much as they could. Obviously, not able to pick up everything. So there were some leaves here that they picked up, and some of them are on display. Now, in between me are two trunks. Those trunks there were disguised by a biggish kind of balcony, I suppose. It's one that you see Gandalf and Elrond walking across, where there's no sides to it, it's just like a ramp. So that was done right around here. Now, some of you might find the name Alan Lee familiar. Alan Lee, alongside John Howe, have been huge Tolkien illustrators for much of their life. Now, of course, Alan Lee was invited to Lord of the Rings as an art director because, of course, he's been doing it for most of his years. So he comes out to this place, Kaitoke. He sits on the stump, gets out a sketchbook and a pencil, and starts looking around and designing Rivendell. Of course, Peter Jackson looked at that and he loved it. And that is why Kaitoke Regional Park was home to Rivendell. Now, like I did say earlier, a lot of the areas we've been to today are public areas. This obviously is no different. So what they did is that bridge that went over to when I showed you the overview of Eomer finding Theoden's son. The start of that bridge, they had it blocked off. Now there's some sewage pipes just up here, bit of sewage works. You continue walking up. So the story was there was something wrong with the sewage. Nobody can pass until they fix it. Of course, it took them 3 months to fix that sewer. So that's how they managed to get away from getting everybody entangled in this and becoming a huge mess. Now, one thing I did forget to tell you guys on location is behind me was where they shot the Kissing Bridge. They got a man-made waterfall and it went underneath the walkway that I was talking about earlier. And then there was a poor guy that would grab that water, bring it back to the top and let it flow down. Now, if you have a look at these two pictures here, the photo on the left is in the studio. The photo on the right is what they built on location. We have Frodo in bed. He's been stabbed by the Morgul blade. And then he's in Rivendell. And like I said, we have Frodo in bed. That scene there was done right here. All of the shrubbery that they didn't need to use, including that stuff and any of the other stuff that's here, they put into a glass house for 3 months while they were filming. They GPS'd those plants, so when they went to put them back, they knew exactly where they went. Now, once they had finished filming, put everything back and whatnot, the park ranger said it had been the best he had ever seen the park, I suppose ever. So that's pretty cool. But yes, so this is where Frodo's bedroom was. Now, if you're a fan of Legolas, this tree here may look somewhat familiar. When they were doing promotional photos, they actually forgot to get some of Legolas for Fellowship of the Ring. He was over in Australia, thankfully. So they flew him back over here, chucked him back into the Legolas costume, brought him out to Kaitoke, and got him to stand next to this tree. And that's where he's got the bow and arrow shots and the other kind of promo shots. Was right here. When I was tour guiding, I have been told that this tree here has been kissed a lot more than you can imagine. Pretty stylish tree, eh? For you fangirls out there, I'm touching Orlando Bloom's tree. Ooh. Alright, moving along. Now, I did tell you guys that Peter Jackson and the rest of the crew did clean up all of their location stuff after they had finished, with obviously the sets. Now, what I didn't tell you is that somebody replanted something as magnificent as Rivendell could see. Okay, it was actually put here by Movie Tours, and you would have noticed the chairs in Mount Victoria were put there by Rover. Movie Tours is another Lord of the Rings tour company. So, there it is. That's what they put here. Pretty amazing. So now you can get all your Rivendell photos and stuff. Now, if you remember, if you've seen the extended edition, you'll remember the archway. We have the Fellowship standing in front of it before they leave. And when they do leave, Frodo goes through and asks Gandalf, Moro Gandalf. Is it left or right?
Left.
Now, if they went right, they would have ended up in the water. So thankfully, Mordor was left. So they were able to continue on. Ah, well, there we have it. That is all the physical Lord of the Rings locations I can take you to here in Wellington. Fantastic. I love my country, and it's quite obvious to see why Lord of the Rings was filmed here. But anyways, there are a few more locations we do need to talk about, so it's back to the studio. Cool, so there we go, guys. That is Kaitoke Regional Park. Tomorrow we'll be continuing on with the Wellington Lord of the Rings filming locations. We will be talking about the pinnacles: Queen Elizabeth Park, Dry Creek Quarry, Fernside, Waitariri Forest, Otaki and Otaki Gorge, Arthur's Nose Quarry, the Quarry in Red Rocks, Dorset Cove, Amora Hotel, and of course the place where the premieres were, Courtney Place. Alright team, real quickly, just want to give a quick couple of shout outs to some people that have helped me with this video, whether it be references or actually helped me. So the first one's for Jack Mashila. Thank you very much for assisting with some photos that you had and allowing me to use them in these location videos. Of course, can't forget Ian Brody in the location guidebooks. I mean, they've been major helps. And of course, talking about Ian Brody, he's got that new app, remember he spoke about in last week's interview, Set Jitters. So I've been using that as well. It's a major help. If you're looking at film locations and stuff, then download Set Jitters. It is free and it can tell you what's around your area, if there is anything, and you can search by movie, city or location, which is pretty damn cool. So once again, massive thank you to Jack, Ian, Set Jitters.